The PlayStation Store has been running some awesome sales with the Golden Week and the Villains Takeover sale. However, both of those sales end tomorrow, so yes, if you've been dilly-dallying figuring out what you want to buy, make up your mind because the sale will be ending tomorrow morning. And with that, I want to do one last video taking a look at some great deals we have yet to cover. Now, we've already uploaded 2 videos, one video taking a look at the Golden Week sale, and then one video taking a look at deals under $10. Now we're opening the floodgates, and I'm just going to be mentioning 10 final deals that I would highly recommend you guys to check out. A ton of great deals available, so I obviously couldn't cover everything, but as far as the best deals that are available, this is what I've really noticed. So without further ado, let's get right into it. We've got 8 deals from the Villains Takeover sale and then 2 deals from the Golden Week sale. Alright, kicking things off, the Doom and Wolfenstein 2 bundle is 67% off for $23. Now, you guys might be wondering, why am I recommending a bundle over each game standalone? Well, Wolfenstein 2, I believe, is going for like $17.99, and then Doom is $15. At those price points, those games are good. However, if you haven't picked up either of these games, this bundle is an awesome value purchase. $23.09 for both of these first-person shooters is great, and with both of these games, just know that you're primarily going into them for the single-player components. Doom does have a multiplayer component, but honestly, the standout of that game was the single player. As far as which game is better, I think the majority of people would say Doom, but Wolfenstein 2 is a great game in its own right. These games are incredibly gory, incredibly visceral, but incredibly satisfying at the same time. And to get both of them for $23.09, that is a great buy. Next up, we've got Far Cry 5 for $14.99. Now, Far Cry 5 has been readily available at this price whenever it goes on sale. $15 is now the price I would recommend Far Cry 5 for, but it's a great game. An open world first-person shooter. If you've played Far Cry 3, it really hasn't reinvented the wheel since then, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. Far Cry 3 was a remarkable game, and Far Cry 5 just improves upon what that game set, what Far Cry 4 set, and you still get an incredibly compelling open-world action first-person shooter with a ton of content, a lot of investment to be had, and if you're talking value for your dollar, Far Cry 5 is pretty great from that standpoint in getting a lot of hours for your dollar. Next up, we have Borderlands The Handsome Collection, 75% off for $14.99. Now, I talked about Far Cry 5 being an incredible value for your dollar, but let's be real, Borderlands The Handsome Collection, in terms of pure hours of gameplay, is on another level. What this includes is Borderlands 2 and Borderlands the pre-sequel. On top of that, you get the DLC for the respective games, so you just get an insane amount of content for your money. Each of those games you can honestly sink over 50 to 100 hours in, and there's reason to go back and play through the games multiple times with all the different characters, and I just find Borderlands always replayable. It's a great time, whether you're playing it solo or you're playing it cooperatively. I know a lot of you guys mainly consider Borderlands to be a cooperative experience, but honestly, going through it solo, I played it both solo and cooperatively, and I had a great time with both playthroughs, and considering that Borderlands 3 is just a few months away at this point, now is definitely not a bad time to freshen up on Borderlands. And of course, Borderlands the Game of the Year edition is on sale as well, but that's like $20. The Handsome Collection value-wise is just so much better, so if you're looking to get into Borderlands, this is without a doubt the one to buy. Next up, we have Resident Evil 7 Biohazard. This is 50% off for $14.99 as well. Most people, when talking about Resident Evil now, you're pointing towards the Resident Evil 2 remake. However, Resident Evil 7 was an awesome game as well. Obviously, it's centering around a different character, little bit of a detachment from Resident Evil, but comparatively speaking to RE6, 5, and 4, it really takes the franchise back to its survival horror roots, and it definitely embodies that element of horror. Not only that, Resident Evil 7 also can be played entirely with PlayStation VR, and yeah, that's gonna add a whole new layer to the experience. Some people are gonna prefer to play with the traditional DualShock controls. Some people are gonna prefer VR, but VR is done very, very well, so if you do have the PlayStation VR headset, that's just another incentive. And by the way, the game does have a free demo, so if you want to check that out, you can, and that'll probably entice you enough to pick up the game as well. Next up, we have arguably the best deal in the entirety of these sales, and that is Witcher 3 Wild Hunt Complete Edition, 70% off for $14.99. Witcher 3 Wild Hunt is one of my favorite games of all time, and maybe my favorite game of this generation. I really haven't sat down and thought about that, but I've often considered and talked about The Witcher 3 being the perfect single-player experience, and that every element of a quality single-player game, it really nails. It has excellent storytelling, the visuals are stunning, the open world is gorgeous, content is plentiful and meaningful, which is incredibly important these days. We see a lot of open world titles throw in a lot of content, but is that content really meaningful? In the case of The Witcher 3, yeah, there's the quest of the evil frying pan, but for the most part, there's a lot of quality content in there, and the game is completely satisfying. And of course, with the Complete Edition, not only do you get the base game, you get all the DLC, 2 expansions in Hearts of Stone and Blood and Wine. Incredible value purchase in terms of quality, quantity of content. I cannot say enough good things about The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, and if you're one of the 2 people left standing that haven't played The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt yet, do yourself a favor and pick it up. Next up, for your survival horror buffs out there, Resident Evil 7 is great, but The Evil Within 2 is also very good. That is 67% off for $19.79, so quite a steep price on this, given that it did release, what, almost 2 years ago at this point, and The Evil Within 2 was a game that after it was released, it was shooting down in price, but now it's kind of stabilized at that $19.79 price point whenever it goes on sale. It's a very good survival horror game, and in the case with The Evil Within 2, you really don't have to play the first game. The first game is on sale for $9.99, but The Evil Within 2 is so much a better game. They've also updated the game. They introduced a first-person mode. It's a much more compelling game than the first one, and if you're a fan of survival horror titles, I feel like The Evil Within 2 is a must-play, and a game that doesn't get enough credit at this point. I mean, it has been a couple of years, but hopefully at some point we see a follow-up title as well, and The Evil Within as an IP persists, because Tango Gameworks, Shinji Mikami, they all did a very good job with the game, and $19.79 for that is a good deal. Should mention, this one also has a free demo, much like Resident Evil 7. Alright, next up we have Red Dead Redemption 2. That is 33% off, a little over $40 for that one. Not a bad price for Red Dead Redemption 2. This one has been going down in price a little bit, and that's always good, because Rockstar titles tend to hold up in price, but in the case of RDR2, it's actually been dropping in price a little bit. Physical copies can be had for as low as like $35. I believe I even saw it for $30 at one point, but this is really the best price you're gonna get. I know there's been a lot of complaints with Red Dead Online. However, the single player mode is still incredibly compelling, incredibly engaging, and for that alone, I would say Red Dead Redemption 2 is worth the price of admission. The single player just offers so much content, and it's such a well-designed game. The attention to detail is incredible. The storytelling is top-notch. Cannot say enough good things about Red Dead Redemption 2 from a single player standpoint, and I did say that this was my favorite game of 2018. Many of you guys might have thought God of War was better. They're really neck and neck, but Red Dead Redemption 2 was a remarkable game, and if you've yet to play it, would give it a recommendation even amidst all the controversy with Red Dead Online. Next up, here's a franchise that I like to go to bat for. Kind of pricey on this one, but Danganronpa 1 and 2 Reload is available, 40% off for $24, so one of the pricier games on this list, and when you just look at this game visually and technically speaking, you might just think, hey, this is just a visual novel, why am I spending $24 on it? But these games have incredibly engaging stories. Just play the first Danganronpa for 40 to 45 minutes and tell me you're not hooked. You're gonna be hooked. You're gonna play through it until the end, and each of these games are around 18 to 25 hours depending on if you take your time and really explore all the nooks and crannies, but the storytelling is remarkable. The plot twist, it's so engaging. You don't see some of the stuff coming, and I can't say enough good things about Danganronpa. I don't want to get too into it because obviously that'll offer you guys a lot of spoilers. It's a zany story. It's a little bit off the wall. If you're adverse to Japanese experiences, of course, might not be up your alley, but the storytelling is so good that even if you're not a big fan of visual novels, this might be the one to get you in the door. And to get both games for $24, that's $12 a pop. Hey, 20 hours each at $12 a pop, that sounds pretty good to me. Danganronpa 3 is on sale as well, but that's kind of pricey at $36, so I would get started with Danganronpa 1 and 2 Reload. And you definitely want to play through these games chronologically. Alright, so those 8 deals were a part of the Villains Takeover sale. Lastly, I do want to mention a couple of deals as a part of the Golden Week sale. They've got DMC Devil May Cry Definitive Edition, 65% off for $14. And I know what a lot of you guys are thinking. Come on, man, Devil May Cry 5 is out right now and you're recommending DMC Devil May Cry? Yes, I am, because Devil May Cry 5 is still going for like $60 on the PlayStation Store. DMC Devil May Cry, on the other hand, is $14, and you could see it as its own standalone experience. Completely strip this away from the mainline Devil May Cry games. Just go into it expecting a great action title from Ninja Theory, and I think you will be satisfied. Yes, Dante does look different, but know that if you do get super into Devil May Cry, you have Devil May Cry 5 to play as well. Just think of this as a completely offshoot of Devil May Cry, and you'll actually have a great time with it. The action is super satisfying, the visuals are good, even with it being a little dated, and at $14 would give that a strong recommendation. Even if you played DMC 5, I think there's a reason to go back and play through this game. Just assess it as its own action title, and you'll have a lot of fun with it. And lastly, I do want to give a shout to BlazBlue Central Fiction. That is 70% off, down to $17.99. I love BlazBlue. In terms of fighting games, this is the one that's resonated the most with me. Maybe it's because of its weeaboo presentation. I don't know. The storytelling is absolutely zany, absolutely crazy. In terms of a story with a lot of layers and a lot of nuances, even outside of fighting games, BlazBlue has a pretty ridiculous story. It gets kinda wacky in the latter games, but nonetheless, as far as fighting game mechanically goes, it's also very slick and stylish in presentation and incredibly satisfying, whether you're playing it as a casual fighting game consumer like me, or you want to get super into it and learn all the technical aspects to the game. It really caters to both of you guys, so $17.99 for that would give that a recommendation as well. And that's gonna conclude this video. Again, both of these sales are ending tomorrow, so if you've been twiddling your thumbs, not sure what to pick up, make up your mind and pick these games up ASAP. There's so many great deals available. We uploaded a video taking a look at deals under $10. We uploaded a video taking a look at a bunch of deals from the Golden Week sale outside of these as well. So check those videos out if you're interested. That's gonna conclude this one. Sound off with all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.